Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video I'm excited to say that I have got some alpha footage of Faction Assault 2.0. This is going to be the reimagining of Faction Assault. Remember, this is going to be alpha footage, so things may change based on the feedback of the people who are going to be testing it, based on, some things may not be 100% polished how Scopely want it to be, and also based on potentially your feedback. If you see something from my gameplay, from screenshots, from anything you see on the new Faction Assault, give feedback on it in the Discord, and they might be able to implement or change things. This is the best time for that stuff to actually be implemented or changed. In the future, once it's all released, the likeliness of things being tweaked is going to be much lower. So this is when to voice your opinion and things that you want to see different. But we're going to just get into it just to see how it looks. So if I go along to the Faction Assault tab, it's going to work pretty much like usual. And when we bring up Faction Assault, you can see there are 6 tiers. 3 tiers have a brand new boss that we've never seen before, but 3 tiers at the beginning have a boss that we're very, very used to, and mini bosses that we're very used to as well. If we look at the bosses on the right hand side, you can see there's brand new mini bosses here. I recognize Lily out of the mini bosses for Governor, but I don't recognize the other bosses. Does anyone know who they are? I think there were someone of these was a 3-star. I think, I'm pretty sure. If anyone knows the names of these characters, let me know. Is that another David? It was very similar, but even that might not be set in stone. This is stuff that could even change itself as well. If I go into Faction Assault, we're going to check it out. But first, let me just remind you what the old Faction Assault looked like, because I know it's been a while since some of you have run it. And this is what the old Faction Assault used to look like. And as you can see, you'd see a boss, and you'd have to kill that boss to get onto the next boss, kill that boss to get onto the next boss, so on and so forth until you got to the final boss, and then you take out Negan. And if you did that, it would be over. So then if a faction mate turned up late, they would be like, oh, I missed Faction Assault, I'm not going to get rewards, I'm not going to be able to take part in my favourite game mode. Well, let's have a little look at the new Faction Assault. And this is it right here. Very small visual change. The bosses are all going to be in the same place, but you don't have to defeat one boss to defeat the next one. And you can see they've got infinite HP. This means that you don't have to attack with a 1-star character doing 1 damage to make sure you get on the scoreboard. You can attack straight away. And even if every boss gets defeated, it's based on the reset time when Faction Assault ends, not on you defeating the final boss, because they have infinite HP. So if you're someone who's working all day, you get home from work and Faction Assault's going and it's got 10 hours left, it won't be fully defeated. You'll be met with this screen right here. All the bosses will be up and ready for you to fight. You can choose which ones you want to fight, and choosing which ones you want to fight also reward you with different rewards. You could go straight for the main boss and only hit him. You could go for one of the mini bosses and the main boss. You could try and go for all of the bosses. It really does depend on how much energy we're given. In the tests, we're being given 8. I'm not sure if this is final. We'll have to wait and see when it fully comes out. But you can also see there's requirements here. This is tier 1, so the requirements are going to be quite low. You can see the easy boss requires at least 1 character from Atlanta. But let's imagine this was a much higher tier. That could require up to 5 characters of Atlanta. But that's considered easy. And Atlanta has been expanded. If you haven't checked out the new allegiance changes, there should be a link in the top right hand corner linking you to all the allegiance changes. I think Atlanta has like 15 characters now, so that isn't going to be crazy difficult. Then we have intermediate, which is going to have Alexandria, again quite a large allegiance. Now we're going to a slightly smaller one, but again has been expanded a little bit, Saviors. And in the top right hand corner you can see there's the Hidden, who is very one-dimensional team. You have to kind of use all the characters that are available to you, because there are only pretty much 5 or 6. There aren't a huge amount of characters there. They only have 1 leader option as well. So you're very much locked in, and that's why it is Nightmare mode. But they are quite strong characters at the same time. Depending on where these, maybe Nightmare can land on corner in the bottom left-hand corner sometimes. It might always be Tara being the Nightmare boss. We'll have to wait and see there. But for instance, when it comes to the Hidden against Tara, you've got a character like Ghost, who's strong. It's going to be a problem, because she's obviously alert. But then you've got Vance, who can pick up Ghost and revive him. So there's always ways around this. Now, if I do click on Tara as a boss, you're going to be met with this boss screen. And this is how it's going to be laid out. It tells you the requirement to actually be to be able to do this. Choose at least one fighter of the hidden allegiance. I'm guessing as it tiers up, it will require more characters of those allegiances. This is one of the reasons why there was that original change to allegiances. You can also see the mechanics at the top. So you can see there she's immune to certain things like infection, let's see, execution, maim. These things are like things like decap. That doesn't make too much of a difference because I think once she's down, she's down. But I think her friends, like the little guys, you can decap those. But then you have like an 80% chance to resist certain things, and that could potentially be like, you know, bleed. 50% chance to resist bleed. You can also do trauma, and that's actually going to be pretty interesting. You know, you land trauma on the character, they take damage based on your resisting. That would be actually a pretty interesting. So you could have quite fun ways to attack Faction Assault, and that will be interesting to see how that's going to happen in the future. Then we have the boss skills. It just tells you what they can do. It is now Adrenaline Rush signature move. And then we'll look at the passive. So she deals 300% damage to one enemy. That enemy gets stunned for one turn. Revive one teammate with 50% HP. One teammate gets 25% bonus HP. Then her signature move deals 200% damage to one enemy. That enemy gets 50% heal reduction and trauma equal to 5% of this character's attack for 2 turns. Initial cooldown turn 1. So it can be spammed quite heavily. She reduces basic attack by 30%. And that's it. So it's not too crazy. But again, this stuff can change. It can change over time as well if these are too unbalanced or not, you know, powerful enough. These can change over time. And each boss is going to have their own separate, like, Adrenaline Rush, signature move, and passive. Then we have the rewards. And I will say the rewards, I think, are the same for all of the mini-bosses. And the requirements are the same as well. If you do 450,000 damage to this boss, and I think it's around about 10% of her max HP, you'll get this crate on the left-hand side. But if you defeat the boss, you'll get the crate on the left-hand side and the crate on the right-hand side. Now, remember, you do have multiple attempts at this if you want to, because you've got energy. So if you don't do it the first time, you could do it, you know, the second time. Now, in these crates are going to be tokens, and they are called common assault tokens. So these are the easy ones to come by, whether that's because they're on low tier or because there is just more of a higher tier one. We'll check it out when we check out Negan in a moment. But you are going to be able to get the same crate twice, effectively, based on what you're going to do. And I will say each boss rewards exactly the same crate. So this is the Nightmare level boss. And then this is the Easy level boss. And the crate is exactly the same in terms of what it is got as rewards in there. But you can take them both down and get all of the crates. So you can get every single crate off of all of the mini bosses. Now I'm going to attack the bottom right hand corner boss right now, which is David. And I have to take one savior character in with me. And I've got a good idea who I'm going to take. Because David is fast, I think taking a strong character would be smart. And then taking extra strong characters with strong attacks, doing actual extra damage, seems like a good idea to me. I'm also going to take in some bleed because I do like me some bleed. And that's what Faction Assault's all about. So let's just put a team together and see what we can do. And this is a team that I've put together. Pretty easy, simple team. I think you guys know what these characters are about. But Bruce can do quite a lot of bleed on his rush. When I originally previewed this character, I was like, this guy would be nuts for Faction Assault. Well, Faction Assault is here. Faction Assault is here, and this is Bruce's time to shine. Now we have Shiva as well. She's also going to be able to double bleed, do bleed herself. I put bleed mods on everybody. And we also have Molly, who's going to be able to do Guardian Shields, William with bonus HP. I'm feeling good about this. So now we'll go to attack the boss, and it'll take us in, and it'll be exactly the same sort of structure that we see of the bosses in the past. But you'll see the infinite HP at the top. And like I said, if I completely destroy this boss, then I don't have to worry too much about my teammates, my faction mates not being able to destroy this boss. You can also see it does update you at the top. It says 0 out of 400,000. If I do some damage, I might actually... I think this guy's got a reflect weapon. Okay, we got away with it. We will see if we do 0 extra damage here. Let's have a little look. I did 52k. And you can see it's updated. 52,905 out of 400,000. What I'm actually going to do, guys, is just to see if this works. We'll just let him take a little bit more damage. And then we're going to just flee. Does that number remain? Or does it... Let's just check. I have already done this because I have already tested it out. It is fun, guys. It is fun. And then if I go back in... Okay, his everything's reset. Everything's reset. This is just to test it out. So now... Yeah, there is a reflect weapon indeed. Fortunately, we do have a revive character. We're going to take out both of the extras. And then we're going to do some bleeds. And then we're going to hit auto. We have got the Guardian Shields. We have got the Revive. And we're going to see how much we can get that bleed up to. We have got pretty decent bleeds. It's at 150k right now. 130k. I just want to get Bruce another rush off. Are we going to get another rush off? We might not. He's up to 280k. Bruce is... this can be resisted, but Bruce is all about getting his specialist skill to proc up. And did it get resisted? I don't think he did. I'm not actually sure, but... yeah. Yeah. This is tier 1, so when we get up to tier 6, those HPs of the bosses will be much higher. 500k. I've extended it with Shiva. Characters that you should already have on your roster are going to be very useful for Faction Assault. A lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun potential to come. And I'm already enjoying just the alpha, honestly. And we have taken out the boss. We have already received the 2 crates, but it's just confirming 2 crates received. And that's how it works. Pretty much, it just looks like at the moment, from what I've done so far, it looks pretty similar to the old Faction Assault. They've just kind of ironed out the bits that people hated. As in, the bit where you couldn't attack. You had to wait until everyone was online. The bit, you know, where you start fighting over, like, doing too much damage. Because it's impossible to do too much damage now. I can wreck a boss, and people won't go, oh, he hit more than 100k. You know, he hit more than 200k. And I will say, there was once upon a time, I actually got kicked from an allegiance and a faction for doing too much damage. I was too good. They kicked me out. They're like, you couldn't have done that in one attack, and they kicked me out of the faction. I wish I was lying to you, but it actually has happened. Now, when we move on to Negan, Negan has no requirements. So you can put together a team, and it could potentially be the same on every tier when it comes to the boss. Only the mini-bosses will have requirements to actually take them down, but the main boss will not. If we go on to the boss, it says a boss stage has a different components. We know this, each with a different strength, weakness, and role. The boss skills tab will give current phase stats. Okay, we'll put together a team in a second. We'll check out the rewards first. We don't have to do as much damage by the looks of things. It's going to get the same crates as before. So we're going to be able to effectively get all 4 mini-bosses dead and the main boss and get rewards for all of it. As you've noticed as well, with my attacks, my characters weren't getting worn out. I was able to use them multiple times. I actually much prefer that. I much prefer that. Being only be able to use characters every now, you know, every 8 hours or something like that is kind of ridiculous. But we're going to put together a slightly different team just to see some other characters in action when it comes to attacking on Faction Assault. Okay, so this is the team I put together. Lots of multi-hits this time. We're not going for bleed. We're going to just try for something different. Before we do, we're just going to check out the mechanics of the boss. Kind of the same as what we saw before with the resist. Boss skills. Got the rush. Deal 3 attacks of 150% damage to 2 enemies each. So it's not going to be that massive nuke that Negan had before. Deal 400% damage to a line of enemies. Those enemies get confused for 1 turn. So a bit of control in there. But then we've got the parts. It reduces basic damage from his passive. But then we've got the active components. All components in Negan get 40% defense and defense down block for 3 turns. So this is going to happen every time it goes off. So it's not going to be like every part's going to be doing damage. Deal 200% non-trait damage to an enemy and all enemies adjacent to it. So that's the AoE damage. Deal 30% attack as main damage to a line of enemies. That's going to be pretty tough. And then lastly, we've got all components and Negan get 40% attack and 50 crit for 3 turns. So if we want to deal with the damage dealing ones, I'm going to deal with this track. I think, yeah, this is the tracks. We're going to deal with the tracks first. It doesn't look like it has huge stats. It's got 15,000 attack and 15,000 defense. So it shouldn't have crazy HP, you'd think. Also worth noting that 30% of this attack would be like around about 4k maim. So it would take a little bit of time to get, you know, get problematic. But we're going to deal with the tracks and probably the turret first. We'll hit the attack. And it's going to be Negan again. The mine plow. Oh, we have to get rid of the plow first, do we? Yeah, we do have to get rid of the plow first. This is true. So we'll try and get rid of this first. Not too much of a problem by the looks of things. It looks like we got rid of it. Kenny smashed? Yes, Kenny smashed. Okay, so next turn. Oh, actually, Kenny's still going. He's killing everything. Look at this. But remember, this is Kenny against tier 1. We just actually smacked, actually. Don't forget he tears up. What just happened? What just happened? Remember, this is an alpha. Remember, it's an alpha. But that looked very, very, very interesting. I think that one needs to be addressed. But Yeah, he seems to be turning around the wrong way when he's shooting. But like I say, remember, this is an alpha. It's all good. It's all good. Other than that, it's looking pretty solid. And then we get on to himself. But does it have extra rounds? We know how Negan had extra rounds. It looks like we've already gone through the phases because it says phase 4 out of 4 at the top. So you might have to get in early if you want to go through all the phases. But we just did defeat Negan. We just did the damage. And we did get enough to get the crate. This is the most important thing, the rewards, right? But when it comes to like the full Negan, all 4 phases, it looks like maybe one person will be able to run that. But at least now you're not missing out on rewards like you were before. And if we click next, it doesn't like say, okay, faction assault's over. Whoever missed it is out. Everyone has an hour and 50 minutes to attack all the other bosses if they want to. At any time. I've already taken this boss out. I can attack again with my extra energy. Just have a little bit of fun if I wanted to. You know? And they're taking out my talisman. That's not good for me. But you see, basically that's how it works. I think what I kind of hoped for when it came for Faction Assault was they would keep it pretty similar to what we'd had before. And just get rid of the things we didn't like. And it seems that's what they've kind of done. We'll have to see how... crazy it gets at tier 6, but maybe it's something. There needs to be something really hard PvE. You're working with your faction. You don't necessarily have to kill the boss. You could just get the side rewards. But yeah, this looks actually pretty good. And I'm excited to see how this is going to pan out. There'll be definitely some more content on my channel with regards to Faction Assault in the coming days and weeks. If the alpha does get on as far as doing... tier 6, I'll try and show some information there. I have been told that I can live stream this as well, so I might show this on live streams in the future. But I'm pretty, like I said, I'm pretty excited to see Faction Assault come back. It was a good game mode. It is a good game mode, and it looks like they've kind of kept to what Faction Assault was all about. Bleed still looks like it's very viable. Big boss HP numbers. Don't forget this is only tier 1, so 3.5 million boss tier, HP number here. Tier 6. I'm hoping for like 20 million. Get that bleed up to like 3 million a tick. It'd be kind of crazy. We'll see. But if you have any thoughts on what you've seen, this is just the early sneak peek of what Faction Assault's due to bring, guys. Leave them in the comments down below. That is the end of this video, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.